Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing okay. I'm doing okay. I could be a little bit better. Um, Doug had to go get some cat food, and he's going to pick me up some Alka-Seltzer cold and flu tablet thingies. Yeah, if I have to blow my nose or something, forgive me because, like, it I've been choking all night long, just my sinuses. So I think it is my hay fever. Things are starting to pollinate out there, and I do have that. And so yeah, I took some of my allergy medicine that does help, but it doesn't help enough at night. I barely slept because I just kept struggling. So yeah, and it gives me a fever too. So yeah, and I've been taking so many aspirins I don't really want to take anymore. But yeah, I've been hurting. So anyway, yesterday somebody commented where they couldn't follow what I was saying. Sorry for you, move along. You'll live, you know. Unlike the tapestry I have, they're a Slavic or a Russian type of deer, more indigenous to like what would be what is that called, Siberia, that type of animal. Making a comment that they were dead deer on my wall. Well, they're really not alive, but I don't know where you get with the trees and the deer walking around in the woods that they're dead, but some people have problems getting things straight within their own minds, so good luck with that. As far as deers, did anybody know that I raised a baby deer? Yeah, she was left behind by her mother when they were combining for grain. These vegans don't probably want to hear all the animals that die when they're getting their cereals. But it is true. The little baby had her ears chopped off. One was gone. The other one was just a tiny little nub, and she was only about 2 days old. And the man I worked for brought her to me and asked if I could help take care of her if I wanted to. And I did, because I had sheep I was looking after, and chickens and all kinds of animals. So yeah, I raised a baby deer. I did have her walking on a leash for a while, but then I taught her how to be more wild after that. But she would ride in the truck with me. We'd go get the mail, and she was a cool animal. Her name was Muffin. So yeah, no, I don't kill deers. I help them. I did kill a deer one time. That was pretty gross, and I've dressed and butchered a lot of deer for people, and antelope and elk and beef and lots of chickens, and yeah, I used to do that. Yeah. And then I would get free meat if I did like a friend's whatever they had, and then I would be able to get stuff for doing that work for them because I was good at it. But no. So yeah, I've been affiliated with Dead Deer too, so but I don't know. I don't know what he was implying, but evidently he's not hasn't gathered his strength of listening skills, because I told him I'd be all over the place yesterday, that I wasn't really feeling well. So just follow along as good as you can, or carry on, move along. So cheers, everybody. So very much like yesterday, I have no clue what I'm going to be talking about. I'm visiting with people that like to talk to me, and I talk to them. So if you're not one of them, hey, good luck with the way you're going about things. That's all I got to say. It was pretty cool though when I had that little deer. I had an Irish setter, real beautiful dog, and a Manx cat. They usually don't have a long tail, and they have higher back legs than their front legs. They look like a race car with the big and littles on the back and the front for tires. And but the dog, the cat, and the deer would run around the house, and then they'd switch positions, and pretty soon I didn't know who was chasing who. All I knew is three clowns were just making me laugh, so that was fun. And then the same place I was living, it was by real close to Canada. It was called Bob Marshall Wilderness. I lived in the Belt Mountains in Montana, but I could see Canada from where I was. Just in the mountains, all mountains. But one morning I was waiting for my boss, and it's about probably 6 o'clock in the morning or somewhere around in there, sitting on the step smoking a cigarette, and a big elk, just about as big as a horse, just goes running in front of me, glides over the fence. He was so beautiful. It was just amazing because they migrate. It was in the spring. He was going up to high ground for the summer. So because they go down into the valleys during the winter and whatnot, get out of the high ground. So, but that was just beautiful to see. So to really be that close to somebody that big out in the wildlife is pretty cool. Last week I saw must have been at least a dozen wild turkeys walking across the bottom of my road. And I saw 2 deer and a pheasant. Let's see, what else did I see? I know the wildlife is starting to move around with the winter being gone. So I think all the snow is melted pretty much. There might be, yeah, pretty much. There might be a little bit of. Let me go look. I'm going to go look on the other side of that hill over across from me. Yeah, it's all gone. There might be a couple little spots. Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, so our snow is gone. Pretty much. I don't think it's coming back till next year, so yeah. Oh, I am feeling a little weird. Just my sinuses. So then when I lay down, they drain and they make me choke, so I can't. It's really hard to. Well, even a long time ago, right after I got out of surgery for my sinus, they told me to sleep with 2 pillows elevated. That's really hard to do, and I had always been one to sleep with really small, squishy pillows. Now I got these giant ones. They're pretty comfortable, but I still get a small, squishy spot, and they're the kind that you can scrunch them up and they go back to. They're sort of like a memory foam, only way better. I had a memory foam pillow. That thing was just total junk as far as I thought anyway. But I slept on I slept elevated. That's how I used to sleep when I was a kid, too, with my allergies. And it just really gets hard not being able to lay down, you know? So, yeah. But Alka-Seltzer cold and flu, I had some, but it's a citrus flavor, and I'm allergic to citric acid, so Doug's going to grab me some. I took some of that yesterday. It was pretty gross, because I think the dyes in it, they have, if it's not natural dye or coloring in there, it was just gross. It was supposed to be, I don't know, like orange. Well, it said citric flavor on there. I think Doug had got it for himself, and so, yeah. But it did make me feel better, but not my stomach and just the way, and then it swelled up my sinuses and because of my allergies, so it's like I had to pick, do I feel better for my head and make my stomach and the rest of me feel horrible because of the citric in it, or, you know, which is a bummer because I like lemon meringue pie. I do. But in that also has cornstarch, which I'm allergic to. I think a lot of people probably would be allergic to similar things, you know. I wish my government cared about us like a lot of places over in Europe. They won't let their people have genetically modified foods, but my government doesn't care about us. So we have to be super careful, super, super careful what we put in us. So, somebody asked me if I was a Christian. First off, what would it matter? And so, well, my answer to that, whatever you call a Christian probably isn't what I call a Christian. So, but yes, I am. I'm an ordained minister. Is that close enough for you? You know, I don't have a church. People who listen to me know I have God in my heart. I have a license, but just one of the things I do in my life, you know. So why do you care? Am I on here advertising to make money off of something for you? Huh? What do I want from you? And what do you want from me? And once again, what you might call a Christian probably isn't the same thing as what I think, you know. So just be careful where you tread, because I'm not your passive, patty cake, Bible thumping little creature that doesn't know language or history. So just probably best just to be quiet. Shh, you know. Anyway, hope you're all fine. I said that, yeah. Okay. So, anyway, I'm watching the Origins of Roman Religions by Gnostic Informer. Yeah, they were some very strange. Speaking of the beginning of Christianity, a lot of people don't even know Abraham wasn't a Jew. You know, they called Jesus King of the Jews. Was he a Jew? He was from Galilee. Jewish people weren't from Galilee. They're Assyrian up there. That's what they spoke, He didn't speak, he spoke Hebrew, but that was not his native language. So I don't know where people get their confusion. Yeah, you can be king of the Jews, but that doesn't mean that you're of Jewish heritage. Just like the Jews that claim the Abrahamic religion in that sense, not all of them do. Not like that. And yeah, they would be more closely affiliated with a Christian mindset in some sense. Christianity pretty much forbids magic and rituals and sacrifice. So there's a big separation in a lot of things like that, you know. So, and it depends on the Christians too, whoever and whatever. And I'm not one of these that don't judge, and because I will. I don't care what you say about me. Shut up, okay? You can judge me too. I don't care. Why would I? You're not going to alter anything in my life by anything you say to me or about me. I could care less. I care about you, but I could care less what you say. I'm set in my ways. I'm set in my mindset. My mind is really strong. You can't infiltrate it. Only God can do that, you know? So what does Christianity mean to me? Probably a little different than it means to a lot of people. Mostly because I'm not hypocritical about it. That really gives me a little bit of an edge, you know? If you have to conform to a certain way outside of the Ten Commandments and the seven deadly sins, if you have to conform to a certain societal way in order to be involved in some form of religion or something, that's just way whacked, and I don't want anything to do with it, you know? If you tell me I gotta, like, do this on a certain day and this and that, I'll get out of here with your ritualistic crap, you know? So, yeah, and the Word of God's written on everybody's heart. We all know right from wrong, don't we? And that's how we judge other people, by the same measure, lest we be judged. There's all kinds of, you can go either side of the coin and find proof in the scriptures to back up any dirty little deed you want to do. You know, good or bad, we can find passages to back that up. Just like the wars that are going on, ones that will justify that, they'll find scriptures to back up there and justify it. That's what they'll do. That's what people do. They want to be right. Who wants to be wrong? You know? Excuse me. So, yeah, it is a rough day. Took Doug a while to get going too. He got up, but then he went and sat in his chair for a while, and I got some coffee on and had about 3 cups of that, and then he felt better. But yeah, I think he's probably got, I know he was born with bronchitis, so, but I think he's got hay fever too, because it seems every spring He does, and I usually don't get it so bad in the spring. It's usually in the fall from two things like goldenrod. It's either a flower or a weed, depending on where you live, and cottonwood trees. But in the fall, when the leaves are falling down and there's mold in there, mold spores and stuff, I'm super allergic to that. Not just the pollen from hay, or even when they cut hay or whatever, I'm allergic to that type of thing. And we have these bugs here. I'm going to show you this thing. They're invasive. They sent them over, let me squish you, from China. It's or a Japanese beetle is what that thing is. Looks just like a ladybug, but they're not, and they bite. And I'm going to tell you a story about these things. They brought them over here to eat the aphids that were getting on the grain and wrecking the grain crops, so they say. These things don't just bite human beings, and we've tried everything to exterminate these things. The best thing I've found is natural borax. I put it where they run around, and I've cut down on them. And you think, oh, cute, a ladybug, which will usually help, like, they're good, they'll eat aphids off your plants and different things in your house if you have them, not these things. These things bite. And if you get them in your house and you have dogs or cats, you need to watch really close. I saw a dog, the roof of the dog's mouth was covered in these things, and they were attached up there, and what they're doing is trying to find dark, moist places to lay their eggs and hatch. Oh, that was the grossest thing, that poor dog. I kept looking in my dog's mouth just to check that she wasn't getting any of them up in her like that. That was one of the grossest things I've ever seen, I think. But yeah, it's not just in Minnesota. I think Wisconsin's got them. I don't know where else. But they said, like, putting, like, bay leaves in your windowsills helps. And I think it kind of did. I had bay leaves stuck in a lot around my windows a few years ago. And these things aren't as bad as they were last year at this time because of the borax, I think. Laying that down, any bug like ants or wasps, spiders, flies, these things, most little insects that groom themselves will take the borax back to their nest, or where they live, and it will kill the whole bunch of them. So hopefully I've found something that will work to totally rid these things. But yeah, wow. And the aphids, even the aphids that were attacking plants around here, they were natural. They eat bacterium and other smaller microorganisms off of different flowering plants or grains. So I don't know. So I don't know that it was the best idea to import these things that weren't native to our country. I don't approve of all that type of stuff, They're biologically engineering things that probably and maybe aren't meant to be. Like, what's up with locusts or cicada that have fungus that's growing on them that they're supposed to emerge like every 12 or 24 years, that type of thing? What's up with that fungus that they have on them? Is it natural? I don't know. I heard about it the other day. I don't know enough about it. Maybe some of you have heard more about that. And what's that going to do to the environment? What type of fungi is on there? And like I say, is it natural to them? I might have to look into that if I get a, excuse me, get a chance. Yeah, my sinuses start draining, then it makes me choke. So yeah, I had a bloody nose yesterday from the pressure of it all. Not as bad as a few years ago, and not as bad as when I was a kid. I used to have bloody noses all the time. I had a lot of bloody problems when I was a younger person, almost bleeding to death a lot of times, but here I am. I made it. So, I'll have one more cigarette and talk with you just a little bit. I had shared some Beatles tunes yesterday, a few of them, and a Facebook friend in a group wrote, "We have the same tastes in music," and then talking about the young people and their music, and no wonder they're so angry because their music sucks. I gave it a thumbs up. It depends. I don't have anything pretty much against any kind of music, usually. You know, I can find some kind of enjoyment in almost everything. There's only some things, depending on what it is, too, that they'll have like beats, like different beats for like rapping or whatever. That gets a little monotonous if it's the same thing, same thing. You know, it can be cool up to a point. Any electronical stuff like that. So, have you ever looked into anime music? That stuff's cool. Yeah. If you haven't seen it, look into it. It's pretty cool. Like they have anime strings or anime piano, anime orchestra. I think I like the anime strings the best. It's pretty cool. I saw it on just local television probably about 20 years ago for the first time. It was interesting. Actual composition of music done electronically with animated instruments playing it. That was pretty cool. Actually composed music done to animation. Yeah, neat. Yeah. Oh, I didn't want to eat anything too junky last night. I was thinking chicken soup. That's always good, like chicken noodle I will have if I'm not feeling good. But I thought I need some vegetables too, so I took some chicken tenders and threw them in my crock pot, and then I put some broccoli and some cauliflower and put some water on there, and then I chunked up, I have from a local creamery, an American cheese that's low fat, low sodium. I took half that, half Philadelphia cream cheese, and put them in there in chunks around on it, and let it cook until it was like starting to get hot. And then I poured in a little cream on top. Oh, I started the chicken tenders after I chunked them up. with a little butter around in the bottom of my crock pot, and then put the vegetables and the cheese and enough water to cover the whole thing. Then got it hot and poured some cream in there, stirred it around, made like a cream sauce. So it was broccoli, cauliflower, cheese, chicken soup is what I had last night. And it did make me feel better. I felt good for about an hour. So I think the warmth of the broth, and I gave some to the kitties, and they loved it. It was all gone this morning, so we're going to have that again tonight because it's just good. So, and Doug was getting rained on. I told you yesterday. So I thought, well, he's probably going to be wet and cold because he was getting this truck ready for some people to come and pick it up. Tomorrow, I think they're coming, so, yeah. We might trade for a little car called a MG. I think it's a 72, which is a really unique thing about the little thing. It needs some work done on it that we can do. It was a guy's project. The guy wants an AR-15, and we might want the car. So it's got a removable hardtop, and I've never seen one. Doug's never seen one. They're usually just cloth top, rag top, little MG convertibles. This one's white. It's a cute little car. Little roadster, little road racing cars, So and I was just thinking road racing the other day. I was watching a movie from about 1961, and I saw there's Triumphs that are bikes and Triumphs that are cars over in England. I think the Triumph is an English car. And I was watching this English movie, and a little Triumph pulled up, and I thought, yeah, they're cute. Same with, there's Austin Healey, Austin Martin, midgets, Triumphs, MGs. They're all 60 and 70 road course racing cars. I used to love to watch that, and I would watch like the Bonneville Salt Flat racers, and yeah, we've had race cars like our Anglia was a A-gas, what they call A-gas class race car, so, and a few other ones. Yeah, not really street cars, not like these squirrels out there racing in the streets and whatever. Our car club that we belong to, the Minnesota Street Rod Association, MSRA, we rent a whole raceway in September. If we want to go up and run our vehicles, we run it on a raceway. They have a road course up there too. It's a pretty big track. Yeah, it's cool. It's fun. I've got some videos on my Facebook when we were up there with our little rat rod truck, our 37, little tiny, short-bodied race truck. So, yeah. Whenever you have something that's very little with a big motor, it's probably fast, But you don't go fast for a long time. You just see what are you going to do in a quarter mile, or what are you going to do in a mile, or, I used to race, I race snowmobiles, but I used to race like street racing, but mostly was like out on a freeway or different places where there was absolutely no people around, and these people Now they do it like it looks like in downtown areas, and they're just weird like that. Like they have to have an audience. It's different if you're with your friends and you're all just seeing what your cars can do, but in a, populated area isn't probably a good idea. That's just what I'm thinking. We call those squirrels. They're just acting squirrely because they can, or whatever. I'm feeling squirrely. I'm going to get this uploaded. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Have a beautiful weekend. For you workers out there, I bet you're glad. At least you might have a few hours of your own time. So, all right, everybody. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day, wherever you're at.